Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I know all my leftist friends out there are scouring all their news sources, pathologically scrolling looking for the bad news on Trump. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Like an addict chasing the TDS Blue Dragon. But unfortunately for them, the Trump derangement syndrome withdrawals are kicking in because it just ain't happening. It just isn't there. The supply is completely dry, and of course, what does that mean? On the opposite end, it means the harvest is bountiful. Everything they were hoping for, everything they asked Santa Claus for on their Christmas list, has been denied. It's a lump of frickin' coal, and we're here, I guess the good boys and good girls on the list. It's frickin' Christmas, friends. We've got evidence that Donald Trump's support is growing, and the possibility of a Democrat state flipping Republican for the first time in 20 years. Cue the leftist screeching in the background. It's Christmas frickin' season. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so all eyes are on one state, and that's the state of Virginia, or officially the Commonwealth of Virginia. You've probably heard the talk, you've heard the whispers. The latest polls in the state show Donald Trump and Joe Biden in a statistical tie. Within the last little series of polls here, the race has been within 1 percentage point, on the average at least. The burning question that everyone's asking these days, where do we stand after the verdict? I got the answer for you. You might expect after a 34-count guilty verdict that voters in Virginia would shy off, especially considering the state's dealing with, let's call it, the Washington, D.C. tentacles aspect. Considering the state's proximity, you would expect this place to be a liberal bastion, feeding directly into whatever Rachel Maddow says about Donald Trump. Ah yes, he's a fascist and so forth. But apparently we're seeing the exact opposite, as stunning as it is. My one source for polling data in the state comes from Decision Desk HQ. DDHQ, I think, is a Fox News affiliate, or maybe that was in the past. I think they're affiliated with The Hill, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's all under the same parent. But anyways, DDHQ might be the unsung hero in the game. They certainly do a better job than 538's Nate Silver. They've been tracking the state, and just take a look at this. Joe Biden leads Donald Trump by 0.1% based on 17 polls in Decision Desk HQ's The Hill's presidential polling average in Virginia. I mean, the chart here pretty much says it all. What was once a close to 10-point gap has shrunk to now a 0.1% lead for Joe Biden based on the last 17 polls. A lot of those polls outdated and possibly exaggerating Joe Biden's lead in the state. Folks, usually when you're filling out a 270 to win electoral map, the state of Virginia just sits there as likely blue. Well, it seems as though this year it's a little bit different. If we reset the map here, I think the first thing that we ought to do is color in Virginia as a toss-up state. A polling average of 0.1% for a candidate, in my view, is by definition a toss-up. The latest poll from Fox News, which was conducted on the 1st of June to the 4th of June, so right after the Trump verdict, shows a 48% tie between the two candidates. Now, it's unclear whether there's going to be two candidates on the ballot or not. If we take a look at RFK Jr.'s website, Kennedy24.com, and go to the Ballot Access HQ, it looks like his team is still battling for ballot access in the state of Virginia. So I guess for now it's not a three-way race, but I'd assume if RFK Jr. does get on the ballot in Virginia, well, it would most likely help the Trump camp significantly. Head-to-head nationally, Donald Trump leads by 0.5 in the average, but the moment you introduce third-party candidates, his lead essentially quadruples to plus 2.1 on the average. But anyways, back to the point, the real point here is that Virginia is in play, and of course that's very important. You know, the polling data here is setting the stage for what's happening in the election. Donald Trump is on the offensive, and he's got all kinds of avenues of attack, all kinds of vectors of attack. He's got clear paths towards victory. And like I keep saying, he's got more than one. If we play around with the map here and we make Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada all red, because that seems to be what the polling is indicating, well, that puts Donald Trump at a floor of 268 votes in the Electoral College, meaning he's only missing 2 points. And we've got 4 states here, all within the margin of error, that are all up for grabs. Donald Trump is on the offensive, and he's just got to win one of them. If he wins Virginia, it's over. If he wins Pennsylvania, it's the same thing. Michigan, Wisconsin, he's just got to take one. And of course, there's also another possibility that he wins them all. His numbers keep going up in Pennsylvania, for instance, a state that for a while was competitive. Just take a look at the trends over the last 6 months. It's been bouncing between the two candidates, always within roughly 1 percentage point, sometimes below a percentage point. But then as we've hit late April, Trump's just running away with it, up by over 2 points in the average. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polls Same thing in the five-way races. Joe Biden hasn't led in a poll in Pennsylvania for the last 2 months. The stage is set. Everything's up for grabs for Donald Trump. He's just got to take it. And Joe Biden, well, Joe's on the defensive. He's got to somehow build up a massive wall in the Rust Belt, keeping Donald Trump out. Of course, the question is he the right guy to get the job done? Well, I'm not so sure about that one. I think the Trump team's about to deploy big time with that $400+ million. I mean, what a freaking insane amount of money they've collected in the campaign coffers so far. I think they're about to mobilize an on-the-ground effort in Virginia, Pennsylvania, probably Michigan, maybe Wisconsin. I think we're about to see something legendary. I don't think Joe Biden's going to be able to keep up at all. Joe's tried to make a move on the immigration issue, which has obviously caused him so much pain here. But Trump pretty much the next day was there to swat it out the air.
2 million illegals a year.
Millions of people are allowed to come in. It's meaningless. It's a joke. Everybody knows it. It has nothing to do with border security. And he didn't need anything from Congress. All he has to do is shut the border. You say, shut the border, sign an order, and the border will close. I did it. We had the best border, the safest border in history.
I think this is kind of the vibe that we're likely to get here. I think Joe Biden's going to be throwing desperate Hail Marys. I mean, real desperate Hail Marys. And it's going to be one big embarrassing affair. I mean, the guy keeps saying that inflation was at 9% when he took office. And one of his economic advisors, Jared Bernstein, is just getting a nightly slogging on the issue on Fox News, it seems like. A totally embarrassing affair. They're desperately throwing stuff at the wall, hoping something's going to stick. But it isn't. Nothing's working. Quite to the contrary, in fact. And even post-verdict, absolutely nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in Pennsylvania, in Arizona, in Georgia, and now even Virginia. It really feels like Trump's about to make history. You know, when's the last time a Republican president pulled 22+% support from black voters in left-wing polling crosstabs? When's the last time that's happened? Donald Trump's making history. No Republican has been even close in the state of Virginia since Obama, or rather since George W. Bush lost to Obama. Well, now the state's in play. New York's within 10 points. Florida seems like a Republican stronghold. Nevada's about to go red. Georgia supposedly flipped to be a blue state and then instantly flipped back. And even more so after the whole Fani Willis Fulton County nonsense. I think we're seeing something here that is truly remarkable. And honestly, I think it goes even further than Donald Trump himself, than him as a political figure, as a charismatic leader. I think we're seeing a great conservative realignment. We're seeing evidence of it across the West. A revolt against the left-wing insanity. The people have had enough. Although, of course, that's just a feeling. We'll have to see exactly what happens. According to the numbers, I mean, it's looking as red as far as the eye can see. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know, we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.